Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of How's That Cricket podcast with Josh and Lily.
Hello. It's been an exciting week, hasn't it? There's been lots of signings going on overseas, and we're ready to talk about them.
Yes, there's been heaps. Some new players have been picked up. Some players have changed teams. It's been very exciting seeing the signings.
Yeah, so the 100 draft happened on Tuesday night, right after we recorded our episode. So we are talking about them a week later. But the amount of Australians that have gone over, or are planned to go over, is very exciting.
Yes, it is very exciting. Some new guys have been able to get signed and get their first taste of 100 action. So that will be really good to see how they go. I think Tali McGrath, one of my favourites, is one of them.
Yeah.
She's going to smash it, I think. Just the kind of batter she is, yeah, she's just going to be amazing. And I think it's really going to suit her.
Yeah, so we'll just go through the teams. So we'll start off with London Spirit. Now, Josh, you're in a bit of a pickle because you're not too sure who to select, but London Spirit have got a rather strong team at the moment. So the people that have moved around and have joined the team. So we've got Beth Mooney, Amelia Kerr, and Megan Shute, who have all joined London Spirit as their internationals, who will be in the team with England representatives Heather Knight, Charlie Dean, and Freya Davies. So that's an exciting one. And also Welsh Fire captain Sophie Luff has moved over to London Spirit as well. So yeah, how do you feel about London Spirit?
Well, of course, as you said, I need to jump on a team this year. So it's going to be tough because my three all-time faves, Shooter, Amanda Jane Wellington, and Tali McGrath, they're all in there, but they're playing for two separate teams. And of course, I do love Amelia Kerr. So London
You're
Spirit.
going to have to choose. I won't make you choose right now on the spot, but you have until August to think about it.
Okay.
So get back to us in August and let me know who you've chosen to pick. You've got a long time to think about it, so weigh up your options.
Yes, it's going to be a tough one, but look, whoever I choose, of course, I'll be following the players as well, how they perform. So, definitely following those four. As I said, really big fans of them and just what they bring to cricket. And yeah, I've got some choosing to do. So yeah, I will think about it hard. I might dig into my family history, see if there's a little thing to get me over the line.
Yeah. Next up, we have Welsh Fire. So I was so surprised when I saw the first signing of the whole 100 draft was Tammy Beaumont moving over to captain Welsh Fire. I mean, good on her, but I was surprised that she departed London Spirit to move over to Fire. And there's been lots of new signings in that team. Rachel Haynes, Annabelle Sutherland, Fran Wilson, who's moved from Invincibles, and Alex Hartley. And Fee Morris has come over as well, and Sarah Bryce. So that is quite a new, fresh team. And there's also Hayley Matthews, who's remained. So it's good to see Tammy there and the two Aussies and Alex Hartley there as well.
And another one that I'm close to, my fiance Hannah, is both her parents are Welsh. So another one that probably Hannah will go, yep, we got to follow Welsh Fire. So no, very strong team. That's a very strong team as well. Tammy Beaumont moving over and captaining them. Good on her. She's got a good head on her shoulders. I can see them doing well as well.
Yeah. Now moving on to Manchester Originals. So Deandra Dottin and Amy Satterthwaite have moved over as two of their internationals, and Lizelle Lee was one from last year.
Mm-hmm.
And also Amy Campbell, Phoebe Graham, both of them have moved over from Northern Superchargers, which is, too exciting, more players to see there. But also Kate Cross, Sophie Eccleston, and Emma Lamb are all remaining there. So still quite a strong team from last year. Quite a few more remaining players than new ones, but still quite interesting.
Yeah, they've seemed to have retained a lot, which will help them in the long run. That's fantastic that they've been able to regain most of their players. So they'll be strong again. And I think, your team will be Good again, Lily.
Yeah, I do have to say, so this is my official announcement that I have jumped on the originals bandwagon. So
Kate
whoever
Cross
out
will be
there is,
very happy.
yeah, whoever managed to convince me, congratulations, you know who you are. So next up we have the Superchargers, which another team that has retained a lot of their players. So Jemima Rodriguez is back over there. Laura
Not the one I
Wolfart
love watching. Yep.
and Laura Wolfart and Alyssa Healy. So they were three. So Healy didn't go over, but she was from the original 2020 list. So they managed to retain her. And yeah, Wolfart and Jemima. So three really, really strong top order batters, which is going to be so exciting.
We'll see a lot more. I think we'll see a lot more people go over from overseas now that COVID's a little bit more familiar. Last year was just too risky for internationals to go over. I think that's why Alyssa Healy and some others didn't go over. So this year will be very exciting for them. Like I said, Megan Shute is she's going over for the first time. So it'll be great to have them have Megan and Alyssa. And yeah, no, it'll be exciting.
Yeah, it will be good to see them because they all bring something different, don't they? Whether it's batting or bowling or being an all-rounder. Like Wello brought so much to the Brave team last year that it'll be exciting to see the rest of them go over and show the England fans what they can do. But so now moving on to the Oval Invincibles. So they've kept their core three South Africans, Dane van Niekerk, Marizanne Kapp and Shabnam Ismail. They've all stayed there. But the big change there was Lauren Winfield Hill moving over from Superchargers to Invincibles. So that's quite a big move. And like I said, the rest of the team is pretty similar, but Lauren is a big change up there, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. She's an absolutely fantastic player, but she's just had a quiet couple of years. She hasn't really lit the cricket world alight. So I don't know if that's why she's changed to the team, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, she's had a quiet couple of years.
I think it was just her form.
Okay.
Because she was given the initial chance in the Women's Ashes and the World Cup. She did play the first couple of games, but didn't perform and just got like less than 10 for most of the games. So I think that's why they changed her up and gave the others a chance. But it'd be good to see if she gets her form back and see what she can do for the Invincibles this summer.
Yeah, new team, possibly new start. That's good.
Yeah. Now Trent Rockets. When I was watching the signings for this team, I am sitting there going, can they get any better? Because they've already they only retained 5 players, but the key ones that they retained was Nat Siver, Catherine Brunt, and Sarah Glenn. But then they somehow managed to bring over Meg Lanning, Mignon Dupree, and Alana King as their internationals, which is absolutely insane. And Bryony Smith moved over from Welsh Fire, and Marie Kelly moved over from Birmingham Phoenix. So that is such a strong team, and I would not be surprised if they won it this year.
No, as you said, and another one, Meg Lanning, coming over. I hope they use Meg Lanning right. I mean, even in T20s, you got to batter in the top 3, but even in 100 balls, you got to batter. You got to open it.
Bringing over an international like that, like captain, I don't see why you wouldn't use her to the full extent because she's there. Just use her, like just open her with the batting. That's what I'd do.
100, but yeah, and like have someone who can score quickly and build around her, because I think, mate, sometimes she comes in a bit low for Australia. I think she should open for Australia, honestly, like in all formats. But no, she'll do absolutely fine.
Yeah. And then moving on to Birmingham Phoenix. So they've kept quite a few people as well. So they've still got Amy Jones. They retained Sophie Devine and Elise Perry from the original one. And they've also kept Georgia Elwis, Izzy Wong, Eve Jones, Kirsty Gordon, Emily Arlott, Gwen Davies, Abta Maksud, Ria Fakro, and Phoebe Franklin. So that is like most of their team is retained. But they've also brought in Sophie Molyneux. And they've brought over Stair Callis from the Northern Superchargers. So very exciting. And
that's exciting.
A strong team again, but the team I'd say with probably the most retained players.
Yes, definitely. And I'm officially saying it here now, and I'm not changing my opinion ever now. Elise Perry needs to play the rest of her career as a batter.
Yeah, I think we
She
mentioned that.
cannot bowl. No,
Yeah.
I was umming and ahhing whether to say it, but I'm sticking it to it now. Anyone who's going to talk to me about it, she needs to be there as a batter.
Mm-hmm.
We've
Yeah,
got
I think.
so much bowling stock, and she prolong her more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
and she's having so many issues with
she is.
injury at the moment. So just to use her as a batter and just get her to really work on that would be better for her personally. But Southern Brave, so the final team: Danny
Yeah.
Wyatt, Smriti Mandana, Sophia Dunkley, Anya Shrubsole, Amanda Wellington, Maya Boucher, Lauren Bell, and Tara Norris have all been retained, but they've also brought in Talia McGrath, which is another. I think it's good to have the two South Australians in Wello and Talia together. I think it will just work for them because they do play really well together, and I think they will bring a good dynamic to the Brave team.
Like I said before about T Mac, I think she's gonna thrive in this tournament. She's a quick scorer, just her power. Yeah, I think she's gonna relish this chance, and she's just. I hope she does very well.
Yeah,
I'm making early prediction. Player of the tournament, I reckon.
that is a big one.
That
It's a very big call.
I'm like I said, I think she's going to really go well this time. I'm going to say it now. Yes.
Okay, interesting.
Yes.
Big call, but
I think she's
we'll
going to
see.
do very well.
We will see.
Yeah.
That is the 100 draft for the women. Now, the men, a couple of Australians who have gone over. So we've had Adam Zampa, who was originally with Birmingham Phoenix, but he didn't go over.
Due to COVID. Yep.
So he's gone over to Welsh Fire now. And Matthew Wade has gone over to Birmingham Phoenix, which is exciting. And also Daniel Worrell and Sean Abbott have gone over to Manchester Originals, which is, interesting, that one.
Yes, Daniel Worrell has started his transition to an Englishman. So will we see him in the next couple of years maybe play a test for England? You never know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he like Daniel Worrell's going to relish in those conditions as well. I think his swing and pace is just unreal, and he's got a few good years left, so he's going to be dangerous that tournament. Good to see Zampa get over there, and not many people think that the English pitches really don't take much spin, but spin definitely plays a big part over there. So good to see him over there.
Yeah, and there's also Riley Meredith has gone over with Glenn Maxwell to London Spirit, which is exciting again. And that's good to see him go over for the experience, really, because he's one of those ones who's so young and he's able to he'll take all the experience he can get. So that's good to see him there.
Very talented bowler and a very talented short form bowler. So in a 100-ball format, that's going to be critical. So yeah, we shall see.
Yeah, and we also have Hilton Cartwright, who's gone over to Oval Invincibles, which is another one who just needs the experience, really. But
big hitter. He could add a bit of value, definitely.
Yeah, and there is Kane Richardson, who is joining Matthew Wade at Birmingham Phoenix, which is interesting because he has been through quite a lot of injuries recently. So hopefully he will be all good to go by August.
And apparently he has not been offered a contract by Cricket Australia. The other contracts have come out as well for CA. He has not been offered one, so it seems, I know it can change, that hopefully not, but his Cricket Australia days might be over.
Yeah, he has been around for quite some time, so it's just one of those ones where you just see what happens. But it'll be good to see him hopefully play over there. And finally, we have Marcus Stoinis, who has gone over to Southern Braves. So
no, you have to have him.
Yeah, that's another interesting one. That one,
but that's just a no-brainer.
Yeah. But yeah, so those are the Australians who have gone over to the men's 100. But yeah, that's the 100 draft, and it's exciting, and I can't wait for August to come around.
It's 113 days away from now that I looked on the website.
So super exciting.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to watching it. I'm watching it a lot more and paying close attention this year. I think there's been a lot of hype around. We've been talking about it. It's a new concept that hopefully can take off. A lot shorter than the T20s. Yeah, who knows? It could definitely be good.
Yeah, and I have officially booked my plane tickets.
Oh, well done.
My tickets are booked. I am going over. It cost me about $2,000, but that's okay. I've been saving since last year. I don't know what I've been saving for, but I've just been saving just so I can, because I know I'll want to do something with that money, and that time has come. And so I'm super excited to go over towards the end of August, and hopefully getting a few hundred games, which so excited for. Should be awesome.
Yeah, no, that should be fantastic. Hopefully, just get the How's That Cricket podcast signed, and I'll hopefully see it on the TV.
Yeah, I'll make sure I keep on. I'll update you, Josh. We'll let you know what happens when we get back. But so on the topic of the 100, we have a guest this week who plays for the Northern Superchargers and had been retained for the Northern Superchargers. So we spoke to Hollie Armitage. Like I said, Northern Superchargers, Northern Diamonds player and captain. And it was great to talk to Hollie, to hear all about her experience, because she has played quite a lot of cricket over here in Australia, in Tasmania, like club cricket. And she also was a replacement player in WBBL 05 for the Sixers. So we talked to her all about that and about what it's like playing cricket in England and Australia.
Yeah, no, it was a fantastic interview and very, very good insight on what life is like in England playing over there. So hopefully you guys enjoy.
Yeah, so enjoy our interview with Hollie Armitage.
Jones down the wicket goes high, Armitage comes in, and what a magnificent catch! Hollie Armitage getting her hands underneath that one. Gosh, that was a good catch.
All right, so I guess we'll just get started. So can you tell us, where you are at the moment, what you've been up to, and where you're at with your cricket?
Yeah, so I'm at home in Huddersfield where I live. We've had pre-season, which has been going on since we had 6 weeks off, so it's been going on since November-ish. I was lucky enough to be able to go out to Australia on a holiday to see my partner, who I think you've actually done a podcast with, Maisie Gibson.
Yeah, she was our first interview there. Yeah.
So I go out with her, and so luckily enough I got to spend January out in Tasmania. So I've had a nice break, which I think some of the other Diamonds girls are a little bit like, oh, I wish we had that break. But yeah, now I'm feeling very refreshed, and we've had a good February of winter training. Back with it gets obviously more intense now because the season comes quick and fast from now on. But yeah, so it's kind of exciting times, and the Diamonds going forward into this season are looking pretty strong, if I don't say so myself.
So did you enjoy your time down in Australia? What did you get up to when you were down here?
Well, to be fair, usually I've been for the last 2 winters, and I've gone for a 6-month stretch. So obviously I've been playing cricket, so it's very much 6 months of playing training. But this time it was a month of kind of just not doing much, but still kind of feeling like home, because Tasmania to me is a little bit like a second home, because obviously I've spent quite a lot of time there over the last 3 years or 2 years. So yeah, I did end up playing club cricket for Clarence just because they needed some players. I was there, I was going to go watch anyway, so I was like, all right, I'll play. But yeah, it's good fun.
You got roped in.
Yeah, I got roped in, but I also told them that I was available, so I don't know if that's getting roped in or not. I actually wicket kept for one of the games and got stumping, so that could be a future career for me, maybe.
There you go.
Yeah. So yeah, it was just a nice little break, really, and yeah, ready to get refreshed for a long season ahead, I suppose.
Yeah, that's it's good that you were able to come down here and here, Tasmania, and play a bit of cricket that you probably weren't expecting to do. But you've obviously played cricket here and club cricket. So how would you compare the club cricket in Australia to the club cricket in England? Is there anything different, or is it quite similar, or how would you compare that?
So the club cricket structure that we have in England is nothing like the club cricket structure you guys have in Australia, because for for someone like me, like I don't play women's club cricket over here, because it's more, I would say, developing, or it's hard to explain, but it's more like opening out to girls that have never played cricket before. That's kind of what club cricket over here is for. And I probably don't actually know where the nearest female club cricket side is over here, which is obviously a lot different to in Australia, because your level down from your domestic cricket is your club cricket, which is something that we potentially don't have over here. But what we do still have, so we've got domestic cricket, which is diamonds. Underneath that, we've still got county cricket. So I would still classify county cricket, and I don't want to belittle county cricket at all, because like that's not what you want to do, but that's effectively the same thing as your club cricket, because that's the next step down, and that's probably the feeder. If people are performing in county cricket, which are the fixtures that we have before the domestic season starts, then they're the kind of eye-openers to then the domestic teams potentially to be picking people up from. So like within our region, it's Yorkshire, Durham, Lancashire, but they also feed to another domestic side, Northumberland, like counties like that. So it is a little bit different. So you kind of can't compare it, because you don't want to be saying county cricket is club cricket, but that's kind of probably the level that it is at. But I'm hoping in a few years' time there is going to be a full-blown club cricket structure as well. So then you're playing club cricket, county cricket, domestic cricket, and hopefully the growth of women's cricket will just keep rocketing.
Hopefully you guys can get a thing like we have here in South Australia and Victoria do as well, called Premier Cricket. So we've got some teams that for example, Glenelg, Adelaide. So hopefully you guys could get something similar to, kind of, I don't know if you have anything like that, but also what's your like junior, because we have the Woolworths Cricket Blast here for the really junior people. So do you guys have anything similar over in England?
There was, because obviously our domestic cricket has only just become professional like 2 years ago, and you've still only got 5 contracts, this year 8 contracts, so we're still not quite there. Underneath us there's a Diamonds Academy, and obviously each region, like I don't know about your states, each state might probably does it different. Our region, they do have like little festivals which are arranged by our academy coach, and that went ahead last year, and I think it was a real hit. But I'm assuming there is going to be more of them kind of like little festivals knocking around, so that academy girls are getting proper good fixtures along with county players that are maybe not in the academy, or even your domestic players that are maybe not in the starting 11, just to get them more game time. So I'm hoping that there will be more opportunities along the lines of that.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but I think is it Dynamos over there? I think that might be the same level as the class. Is that like the really little kids?
Yeah, and that's I think that's over the whole country. Yeah, because there was a chance to shine as well. And then, to be honest, I'm not entirely clued up with it all. But yeah, there are like programs that, because I think Dynamos was that associated with the 100, or
I think it was, and because over here it's like you have your Woolworths Cricket Blast with your strikers, so the ones in Adelaide are the strikers and the ones in Sydney would be Sixers or Thunder, so I think it's quite like that, and I think that would be the Dynamos one, so I think that's what Josh was I think he was comparing those two. But
all right,
so obviously you've played a little bit of WBBL. You came over to replace in WBBL 05. Now, was that a bit of a shock, I guess, to see this different competition and coming over and playing this new tournament? How was that like?
Well, I think it was a shock in the first place when I got the message from Midge, and I was literally, I'd finished a club cricket game. I'd also got a duck in that game. And then she said, "Are you in Tasmania at the minute?" Bearing in mind she'd played for the Yorkshire Diamonds at the time the year before, so that's how we knew each other. And it was just, I think it was a massive shock, a massive surprise in general, But it was also like, I was thinking, I've got nothing to lose, but how good of an experience is this going to be? Like, I came to Tasmania to play club cricket for 6 months. And then now I'm getting shipped off to Sydney to go and play Big Bash. And yeah, I'm filling in, but like, to have the thought that my name got brought up to be that replacement player. And I was probably I was just in the right place at the right time, really. And I can be completely honest with myself and say that. But yeah, the competition as a whole my experience of it was absolutely fantastic. And obviously the Big Bash has been extremely successful for however many years it's been going on. And obviously this last year, there's been a lot of domestic players that have been able to go over and experience that too. And it's obviously a very good competition to go over and experience for sure.
Would that be something that you'd be interested in coming back down and playing? Like, was it, a good experience in the fact that you think you learned a lot, or the amount of young girls that looked up to it and go, yeah, I want to play cricket? Was that a big part of playing in those few games? And was that something you'd be interested in doing again, possibly?
Yeah, absolutely. I think anytime you play cricket, it's lovely to see loads of young faces there coming to watch it, especially girls, and the growth of women's cricket. And I think that's in all competitions in Australia, in England. Like, we've seen a massive shift of that in the 100. But yeah, obviously you have to get approached to go and play in the Big Bash, and I wouldn't be turning it down, that's for sure. But yeah, obviously if that opportunity came about again, I definitely wouldn't be turning it down, that's for sure. But yeah, the crowds were amazing. The atmosphere, the team that I was involved in, obviously, I got along with a lot of the players, which is obviously extremely handy, bearing in mind I was just going in there for a couple of weeks and leaving again. But yeah, it was a great experience, and obviously I'd love to do it again if that opportunity came about.
Yeah.
Let's get all the strikers. Let's call the strikers up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that what you say to everyone that you do a podcast with?
We've tried to get Kate Cross down, and I don't think she's too keen, because she's like kind of with the Scorchers. So we're like, oh, come on, to come down to
strikers are way better. Strikers are way better.
Yeah, I think, like you said, it did give people like Eve Jones and Izzy Wong, it gave them a very good opportunity to kind of experience that. And I think that also maybe helped with their A-team selection as well. So I think it does open some doors, definitely.
Yeah.
So obviously you play for Diamonds. Now, you did some captaining for the Diamonds. How was that, and what went on there?
Oh yeah, I love captaining, to be honest. And with the Diamonds girls, it's an extremely easy job. And whoever asks me, I'll always say it, because you've got a bunch of players that know what they need to be doing. So for me, all I have to really do is give them a nudge of when they're going to come onto bowl. But yeah, I think all in all, I think when a team does get on off the field, which we do a lot of socialising off the field, and I think that really helps with the trust on the field. And they all know that me as a captain, I'll kind of do anything I can for them and just try to get the best out of them. And I think if you've got that relationship with your players, it makes your job much easier, but also puts ease to their job too. But yeah, it's been again a great opportunity for me to experience the captaincy role, and yeah, I've loved it so far.
And now Charlotte Edwards Cup and Rachel Heo Flint Trophy made both finals.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about the results. We can just say we made finals now. We don't have to talk about results.
So, obviously it didn't go your way. Is there anything that you've learned from those two tournaments and taken into this year? Yeah,
I think like throughout the Diamonds, one thing that we talk about a lot is being brave. So bravery can look like anything really. It can be like talking up in a team meeting. It can be like being the one to get the early wickets in the power play, being the one to take a team on with the bat. And I think you probably look back at them finals, and especially the 50 over finals, and no one in the top 4 or 5 has gone on to make a big score. And I think we've acknowledged that as a team, and we've probably acknowledged that throughout the whole season, that we've never really had people that have really stood up at the right time and made big partnerships within the top order. And I'm allowed to say this because I'm one of them people and I want it to be me. And obviously everyone wants it to be them. But I think in them finals, we've just not had that person or them couple of people that have really been able to be brave enough to stand up. So I think moving forward, and I'm hoping that if we get to make another final, which I hope we do, once we get over the line in that one, then hopefully we'll know how to do it then. But obviously it just happens at the minute that we haven't quite found that way. But we know how to win because we're making finals. It's just getting over that last hurdle, which hopefully we can do this season.
Dario, Hollie, I know how you feel there. I've made a few state finals and we've lost 2 in a row, so I definitely know how you feel there. It's not fun at all.
It's not a nice feeling, is it?
No.
You'd rather be known as runners-up than coming last in every tournament. So I think, there's a silver lining.
That is a
very good point. That is a very good point.
You said about being brave. Was that something that's come in new after both of the finals? What were your thought process between the two?
So the bravery part of our values is something that was brought in last year, because I feel like in year one, it was very much like, guys, COVID's happening, COVID's hit, but we're going to go play a tournament. The domestic tournament's still going ahead with no crowds, and here you go, we're going to be playing in a month. So little things like that, we kind of probably weren't prepared for. We were just prepared to get our skills right, maybe not the mentality side of things, and go out and try and play some good cricket as a group of girls that have probably, if they've come from different regions, may not have played much cricket together and things like that. But then obviously in year two, we've had a bigger time to prepare, time to think, have a look at the season before. And then that's where we speak a lot about the bravery, and it's just one of them things. And I like the bravery part of it because for different people, it can mean completely different things. And I think that's probably the most important part about it. And if you can keep reverting back to these things that you talk about all the time and say, oh, well, this was me being brave, I bowled a slow ball against whoever, and yet got whacked for 6, but at least that person tried to do something different to try and get us a wicket. And it's kind of just about creating that environment so people are open and honest enough to share them thoughts, and also are willing to do these things on the field, because it's all good being able to do them at training when there's no pressure, but trying to do them skills, and for me to back them 100% to do that skill under pressure. So yeah.
And it's good to hear that, with it being kind of an open thing, like you said, so anyone can kind of interpret it the way that they want. It's good to hear that you've got like all different meanings behind the one thing, I guess. But from your domestic cricket, you obviously playing in the 100 now, brand new tournament. You've had a taste of WBBL before that, so it's could be similar, could be worse, could be better. Who knows? So, what were your thoughts going into that first game in a brand new tournament?
Nervous.
Yeah.
There's a massive crowd, and you're nervous because you don't know how it's going to go. You don't know. Because it was a new tournament, you didn't know the tactics, so you were basically just going out there, bowling a ball, hitting a ball, and yeah, it was honestly terrifying. I remember stood at extra cover with a massive crowd at Headingley, thinking, "Geez, we're doing it! Like, this is happening." But it was awesome. It was absolutely incredible. I think the crowds that we did get, and it was probably from having back-to-back games with the boys, and that's obviously been a massive hit. That's got more people to come and watch the women's game, to have the sober crowd, so they remember our game, for then the men's game after, which is usually how it works, for them to have the really rowdy drunk crowd. So it was great for us. They remembered our game. They didn't remember the men's game. But yeah, no, it was an incredible atmosphere. I mean, unfortunately, I actually got COVID through the 100, so I ended up being in a hotel room for most of it. But the games that I was lucky enough to play were absolutely incredible. And then you look at how it was spoke about afterwards, and the audience it's reached, and how like people that didn't even know girls could play cricket are now being like to their parents, "Well, look, can I go pick up a bat and a ball? I didn't realise girls could play cricket." Like, things like that. And yeah, you're just reaching out to a whole new audience, which I think is just really exciting for cricket as a generally in England and all over the world. Yeah.
And you said that you guys were with the men back-to-back games. That's how the women's BBL started. I remember going to games and getting there early, watching the girls first, and then the men. And now the women's BBL is now standalone. So is that kind of hopefully what you guys would aim for?
Well, yeah, I think so. And well, I suppose it depends on how the games keep going, I suppose, and how the tournament develops. It might be that that's something from a marketing point of view that they want to just carry on doing, having back-to-back games so people can buy tickets for both. And I think that's absolutely fine, like, because as a girls group and a boys group, you end up traveling everywhere together anyway. So that might be just how the tournament works. And I think obviously they will make the decision that they think's best. But obviously for the year one of the comp running, I think it's obviously been a massive success doing that. So we'll probably just have to see how it pans out, really.
Oh, 2 games of cricket in one day. I'm all for that.
Yeah.
And the quick, it's only 100 balls a side, isn't it? So it's 400 balls of cricket for you to watch.
Yeah, I think it's the first game, I think within itself just said so much. It being a women's game, the first ever game of the 100, I think, you know, with the crowd and the music and the atmosphere, just that alone drew so many people in. And I think that was such a good moment. I think that would have been for the women's game, especially as over here it has been going for such a long time. And the women here don't play at grounds like that. They still play at small kind of grounds with no seats. So I think that is also, even though it's taken a bit longer, I feel like it's taken a much further step.
The thing that actually helped in terms of the first women's game was it was a very good game of cricket and it went down to the wire. So I think you actually probably couldn't have asked for a better game of cricket to start the tournament off, because if it were going to be one of them games where the batting team got bowled out for 60 and they knocked them off in 70 balls, then that's probably not the way that they wanted to start the tournament. But the fact it went down to the wire and how passionate the Oval Invincibles were, or Danae van Niekerk was, to get them winning runs, I think that's kind of what set it off. That's what let the fireworks go, kind of thing, which has obviously helped probably the rest of the teams and the success of the tournament.
Across the world is seeing so many fathers and daughters just in the crowd, you know, really young girls as well. So how was that like for you, you know, seeing people like that? Was that kind of like a why you do it kind of moment?
Yeah, I think so. And I think whenever you kind of get someone come up to you, like a young girl come up to you and say, oh, look, can we have a photo with you? Can you sign me back? You think this would have been what I felt, what I was like. And I've got a photo actually of, it were Yorkshire under-13s final. And the 3 England players that came were Catherine Brunt, Jenny Gunn and Sarah Taylor. And I've got a photo with them. So I looked up to them people, and now I'm playing cricket alongside them, all 3 of them, or have done last season. And that's, you have to pinch yourself a little bit, because you are inspiring a lot of young people, and you probably don't realise how much you actually mean to them by having a photo with them or signing their bat, like little things like that. And that is a reason why you do it. There's also a reason, like, I love it. I love playing cricket. I love the team I play with and things like that. But then, yeah, you look at the other side of it and you probably don't see it much, especially in the winter. Like, I'm training indoors at Headingley all winter. But then when it gets to the summer and you get to see these people face to face and you see them in the crowd and they want to come and speak to you, and that's when it's like, oh, yeah, this is why we play cricket. But yeah, it's pretty special.
Yeah.
That's definitely the beauty of it. Just like we've seen some photos with the Aussie players that in the social media stuff, and just them having photos as well. And it's just a surreal moment, just like they're playing alongside their heroes. Yeah. And yeah, it's just fantastic to see.
I can imagine it makes them players that they're in photos with feel old though, like Jenny. And I'm like, oh, Jenny, I had a photo with you about 13 years ago when I was 10.
I guess going on that though, how did you start playing cricket, and what was your kind of cricket story like?
Well, cricket's kind of been grown through the family. Like my dad played cricket, so obviously I used to go down every Saturday and watch him. When I say watch him, I probably wouldn't have watched him. I'd have been like playing football or something alongside. But yeah, my cousins, they all play cricket, so it's kind of something that's always been in and around the family. And then yeah, I used to just go play at my local club, Meltham. I was the only girl that played. Luckily enough, I had a bunch of lads that just embraced me being a girl around them and just nearly treated me as one of the lads, which I preferred rather than them treat me any differently. So I think that's probably the start of when I kind of fell in love with the game. I was playing cricket with some like cool lads that just took me under their wing, and then from there I don't really know what happened. I ended up going to some West Yorkshire trials, did good there, then got moved up to some Yorkshire stuff. And then that all section probably was a really important part of my life, but now just feels like a big blur because I now just feel like I've just kept flying, and it's been absolutely a mint journey, to be honest. I think I've had a few setbacks, which you always do. I've had a couple of knee ops. I broke my jaw at a point, things like that, which you never want to wish upon anyone, not after you've experienced it and you've been out for long periods of time. And you'll have had this conversation with Maisie, I'm sure, because she's had one more than me. But yeah, you never. But like sometimes I look back at that and think I won't change it. Like I won't change the journey I've been on, because then I might not have got to where I am now, which I'm obviously in. I love where I am at the minute. So yeah, I think everything, like cliche, but everything happens for a reason, doesn't it? And then you just got to see where you're at the time. But yeah, it's been a pretty cool journey. Yeah.
Now you said obviously you got a picture with Sarah Taylor and Catherine Brunn, and that, were they still people that you looked up to when you first started playing, or was there anybody else that you looked at them and went, yeah, I want to be like them?
Well, she's gonna, if she listens to this podcast, she'll hate me saying this, I reckon, but Lauren Winfield she used to coach me at under, and this will make her feel old too, under 11s, I think, under 13s Yorkshire. And she was obviously a batter wicket keeper, but I'd never aspired to be a wicket keeper. But and I just always looked up to her and thought, and I think because she was someone that was in a close proximity to me, as in like she was my coach and she was playing for England and playing for Yorkshire, I really thought I want to be like her. And I think deep down I've always thought, and I have always looked up to her, and I still do. Like I'm now good mates with her, so it's a bit weird me saying I'm looking up to her still, but yeah, she's someone that I've definitely she's someone that I've looked up to through my journey, I suppose.
Yeah, I was going to say that must be strange, I guess, now playing alongside her and not being able to say, you look up to her. So I think it's special.
I'd make a joke to her and I say, Lauren, you were me hero, like my number one hero growing up.
She probably thinks you're joking. Yeah.
Now you play the striker's girl. Very, very, very good player.
Oh, yeah, she was a striker. I think that's just a sign that you've just got to come down to the strikers now. Forget the six.
You have to put a good word in there.
Yeah. We will. So going back to the 100, we've seen who's been retained and who hasn't, so congratulations. But Lauren hasn't been retained, and there have been ones all over the place where everyone's just kind of been like, what's going on here? So what do you make of the people that you've got at the moment, without spoiling anything that you can't?
No, well, I think you look at our squad list and we've got a pretty strong squad already. I think we're the team that I think we might have retained the most players. So we've got a team, I think, haven't we? We've got 11 or 12 players.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I think I'm actually surprised with the amount of movement or the amount of some teams that the lack of retention. I didn't actually think, and especially England and domestic players, I think overseas players are bound to move around, but I didn't probably expect as much movement in terms of domestic players, especially seeing some of the names that haven't been retained, assuming they've obviously gone elsewhere, which I think's quite exciting. I think like you do like to stay loyal to a team, and if you've got a good connection with a team, but obviously people are potentially getting better opportunities elsewhere, which I think just shows the growth of the game, I suppose. And it's also probably coaches now weighing up what the balance of the team they need as well, which is probably, you see both sides of it. You might think some players have got better opportunities elsewhere, but actually the team potentially may not have wanted to retain them, depending on the balance of their side. And I think your 3 internationals is the key to your balance, because like you look at our retention list, we've got 3 top order batters that we've retained, so that probably means that we would then go for domestic bowlers, which again, we've retained domestic bowlers, so it's like working out that balance. But yeah, I'm very excited for another year at the Superchargers. It's always nice when heading list packed and they're also chanting your name, that's for sure. Like, you don't want I think in the 100 last year, having a home crowd was very beneficial, especially when there were so many people there, and like the roar that you would get from like even a dot ball, for goodness sake, like little things like that, I think do help your team, that's for sure.
And as you were saying with the retentions, I was just saying, like, just double check the list. Like Jemima Rodriguez, she's a really good batter, and Alyssa Healy, keeper, and Laura Wolver, another good batting player. What's like having some of those names around the team like?
Yeah, I think it's really beneficial. Well, for the batters of the group, but also the bowlers, because they can have conversations as to how they would bowl other batters that potentially play like Alyssa Healy, who are looking to probably hit sixes most balls. Like, and you've kind of, with them 3 batters, you've got 3 completely different players. Like, you've obviously got Midge, who's going to go out there and whack it. Jemima, who, like, yeah, Jemmy takes a little bit more time, but is still an extremely powerful, but also touch player. And then also Wolfie, who also brings another element of power. So I think having them 3 at the top of the order will be great for us, and hopefully that they'll be able to fire at points. But yeah, it's very beneficial for the rest of the girls to be able to learn from them, learn from their experiences playing a lot of franchise cricket. So yeah, it should be very good and exciting.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where Alyssa Healy wasn't able to come over. You also had Laura Mintz come over as a replacement for Healy. So what did she add to the group? Was she a good person to have around?
Yeah, absolutely. She was a very good character to have in the team. Obviously played a different role to what Midge would have done. She came in the middle order to do a silly switch hits, which I have no idea how she does it. Like, we were playing warm-up games, and then I'd be bowling at her and I'm like, how have you just switched hit me for 6 other point? Like, have some respect, come on. But yeah, she was great to have around the group. Absolutely. And I think, again, like we talked about with the Big Bash, people got some really good opportunities in terms of our domestic players, and so did Australian domestic players over here. Yeah.
So out of anyone currently not playing, and literally anyone, if you could fill your spots in the Superchargers team, who would you choose to fill those vacant spots?
As in because obviously we've signed us 3 overseas.
Yeah, just anyone. Your choice. Go for it. Yeah.
McGrath, 100%. She'd be my first pick, and she's in tremendous form.
Yeah, we'd love to go over.
To be honest, I mean, Nat's obviously with Trent Rockets, but Nat Siva, I'd have in my team 100% any day too. Obviously, there's a lot of very good players in there, but okay, I'll go back onto the question that you did ask with the people that are available. Amelia Kerr.
Good. Yeah, good choice.
I'm just having to actually. Well, obviously you wouldn't have them both, but Alana King too. I think having a leggy in your team is very important. How many more slots have I got? I think I've got 4, Anna. So
Yeah,
we've got 2 leggies in there now. And
yeah.
plus we've got Kate, who also bowls leggies, and then myself who also bowl leggies. So we're going to be hot on leg spin. 60 balls of leg spin.
You can make your dream team if you want. You can give us your dream team.
But we might have to get another 40-minute Zoom call in at this rate. Well, no, I think as I went in with that, Talia McGrath, because she's obviously not in retention because she was never originally in, was she? But she'd be definitely up there. I'm good friends with Heather Graham, and I'm very biased towards Heather. I think she's a very good cricketer.
She's a very good cricketer.
Yeah, and she's a lovely person to have around your group, and just as a general good egg, she's a very good person. So she's someone that I'd like to see in my team too.
Yeah.
Couldn't help but notice that Maisie hasn't got a spot yet, but yeah.
Yeah.
I was supposed to say Maisie first, probably, wasn't I? Another leggy. Where can I make 2 balls of leg spin?
Just a team of spinners.
Yeah. What more could you want? Just.
Let's actually listen to this now. Actually,
yeah. To listen to.
Keyword all of this, and Maisie goes first.
We'll edit it so you're safe.
Yeah. You can like just redo your little sentence, and we'll just put it right at the start. So it's like a big 100%. Yeah. Or we'll just tell her to listen to this one bit. Just listen to the second clip. I bet she'd love that. But what will you be taking in from last year's 100? What will you be taking into this year's 100 season?
Well, I think it's kind of not getting too caught up in the atmosphere. I think put cricket aside, it's kind of, you know what you're doing, you know what your job is. It's kind of like being able to put like a blocker on your ears so that you can't hear what's going on, and you're just kind of focusing on the one thing that you need to be doing. Because I think people can get caught up in the atmosphere, they can get caught up in all that, and then it can just add so much more pressure that's probably not even there. So I think it'll just be like with the girls, like we still got a long time. Like T20 can go very fast, don't get me wrong. The 100 ball can go very fast, but you've got time to think. You've got time to have a deep breath, to take it all in and to execute your skill. And I think that's probably the main thing, really, especially with the crowds that are there, and people haven't played in front of them crowds before. And obviously people had a taster last year, so hopefully they'll be better for it this year.
Yeah, obviously you said before that you had COVID. So will you be doing anything in particular to maybe prevent that from happening? Or is it just one of those things where you just, if you get it, you get it?
Well, the rules are now, isn't it? Because COVID in England, now rules are all changing. If you get it, you don't have to isolate. So I could get it again.
Yeah.
And play, but I actually don't know what rules will be. We were in like a semi-bubble last time, but like we were still living. I had to move out of home because my mum works at the hospital, so she was effectively high risk. So I moved out, and Maisie was with me, and we moved into a hotel which was actually like we'd be eating breakfast with the public, so it wasn't a bubble, and you just weren't allowed to go and eat out places, but. Yeah, so we were doing nothing wrong. We just were in the wrong place at the wrong time and probably caught it off a lift button or something stupid. Like, so yeah, it obviously depends what the rules are. It could be free reign, and it could be that if you get it, you get it, and you still play. Like, I don't actually know we don't even know with our domestic cricket yet what the plan of action is in terms of COVID yet. So, but obviously living in England now, they're kind of, because we've had it for so long where it's only kind of just come into Australia properly now after you've opened the boards and stuff, they're kind of just putting it's like having a cold now effectively. They were just having to live with it. So, but yeah, we'll just have to see what the rules are and what happens with that. But yeah, hopefully I don't get it again.
Yeah.
I think we just all play cricket in those big bubble balls, like these soccer balls.
Yeah.
And we just Or just walk around in them. Like, that could become a vehicle now. That would be fun.
Yeah.
But I guess that's what COVID really stopped, those original signed internationals. So, you know, it might be a completely different ball game now that these bigger names, because I guess Laura Cummins probably wasn't known as much as Alyssa Healy over there. She would be now, but going into it, she probably wasn't as known. Same with Katie Mack, you know, so a lot of them names probably weren't as known. So I think it could be completely different going into this one if they do come over, because the rules probably won't be as strict. So I think, do you think that will change it up a bit?
Well, to be honest, I think with the girls that have travelled around the world and been in bubbles, and that was, I think, one of the reasons as to why the girls didn't want to come over, because like you don't want to have to do any isolation and things like that. I think I can imagine, and I'm speaking off the cuff here, that like they probably don't want it to be a bubble or any form of bubble, because they're just thinking, yes, we can play a cricket tournament that is like a normal cricket tournament again, where the world was normal with no COVID, and they probably hope that's what's happening. I mean, I don't know what's happening. No one does at the minute. And obviously I can't imagine that they would want it to be in a bubble, and I don't think anyone really wants it to be in a bubble. But I think the safety of the players is the most important thing. So whatever they deem to be the safest thing to do, then that's what will have to happen, and people will have to do that, I suppose. So we'll just have to see.
So what's one thing you're really just looking forward to with this next 100 season?
Well, I think in general, when you're a cricketer, you just can't wait to get back on the field. And I think whether that's putting on the blue stuff with the Northern Diamonds, the blue stuff with Yorkshire, the purple things with the Superchargers, I think no matter what colour you're putting on, you're just looking forward to getting back and playing with a group of girls that I love to play cricket with, and just kind of trying to do my job to the best I can do it, really, and win games of cricket. And I think that's the most exciting part about being a cricketer. And then, like we spoke about earlier, inspiring the next generation of young girls and boys. Yeah, that's, I suppose, what I'm looking forward to the most this up and coming season.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's going to be so exciting, isn't it? I'm looking forward to it when I'm, you know, all the way over here. So I think it's going to be.
Not looking forward to the late nights.
Yeah, no, we're going to watch them on replay. We can't watch them live.
We'll watch them on.
Replay.
I've got a 2-year-old daughter. It just doesn't work staying up in the night.
Well, that Maisie's got her first WNCL game because they're going over to Sydney or Melbourne, aren't they? And she's got hers on Wednesday. But I'm training all day Wednesday, and she's like, "You're going to stay up and watch?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not."
Of course, I will.
Yeah. Like, do you want me to be a zombie for the rest of the week, or?
So, what would be your all-time favourite cricket memory that you've just remember forever?
Oh, that's a great question. Again, I could have been prompted on some of these, so I could have thought of like a really good answer.
Sorry.
That's all right.
God, this is going to sound sad, but I do really remember. It was. I'm gonna say I really remember. Then I'm gonna be like, I think it was under 13s. The Yorkshire girls, we'd played a semi-final and a final over 2 days, and we absolutely nailed it, and we won the cup. And that was the time that I met Brunty, Jenny Gunn, and Sarah Taylor. And I do always remember that, and it's probably a random thing to remember. And there's obviously been some really good games of cricket that I'll look back on, and when I find things to look back on, I'll be like, oh, that was an awesome day. But that's one thing that I do actually remember. And I actually had this massive, and I think this is probably why I remember it, I had this massive graze on my elbow, right? So I had to have it taped up, and it's because we'd been away and I'd fallen over or something stupid anyways. And I had this massive graze, and then I was the captain of the under-13 side, and I've got a trophy and I'm lifting it up, and all I can see is this like big white patch under me white skins, because we obviously were whites at that point, and it's a massive graze patch. But I'm like just like loving lifting this trophy in the air, because I think that was probably the first final that I'd ever won. But you probably find that sad, but like it's pretty cool.
No, that's a great story. You always treasure your junior moments.
And I feel like if we'd have won the finals, the other 3 finals that we've made, then they'd be at the top. And winning games of cricket is usually at the top. You never really remember the ones that you lose, do you? So, or you shouldn't do. You don't want to remember the bad things that happen, do you? So, so yeah, that's probably there and thereabouts at the minute.
I know.
More good memories.
Yeah.
I know she's a softie off field, but was Catherine as scary as she is now?
Well, she wasn't playing, was she? So she was friendly as all. She had her England colours on, weren't she? So she would come in just to be a nice face. But yeah, honestly, since Brunty's an amazing person to have on your team, absolutely. She's just really passionate about the game, loves the game, just wants to do well for the team. She's incredible, but like you say, she's soft off the field. She's completely different spectrums on the field than off the field.
Yeah. So what is your favourite ground in Australia? Have you got a favourite?
Clarence Cricket Club. Next time you tag them. That's my home club side in Tasmania. I can't say any other ground. If you want me to say the MCG, I can't say it because I've never played there. So
no, that's fair.
Clarence District Cricket Club in Tasmania.
They'll have you back next year for sure.
Yeah, that's good program.
I'm even wearing maroon, and that's the colours that they wear.
Yeah. You're just like a walking advertisement, aren't you? Everyone's going to go play there now. Yeah. Now, I'm not sure whether you know, but we do some this or that's.
All right. So, minstrels or revels?
Minstrels.
Doctor Who or Harry Potter?
Neither.
Oh, okay. Neither. Fair enough.
I can't even swear one side there. Neither.
Yeah.
Just fair.
Straight down the middle. Neither.
2020 or Test cricket?
2020. Although I did go and watch the Ashes Test match the first day in Tasmania, an amazing atmosphere. I didn't realise that Test cricket was like that. To be honest.
That was the first Ashes Test ever as well. So it probably added to the atmosphere. Yeah. Instagram or Twitter?
Instagram.
Lords or Headingley?
Headingley,
yeah.
We were thinking,
Headingley, isn't it?
Well, we're thinking obviously home ground, but then again, Lords is isn't it everyone's favourite? But got to go with the home team.
Right.
Yeah.
Headingley.
All right. Would you take a wicket or hit a 6? It's a good question.
It is, because I like to think myself as an all-rounder nowadays, but still hit a 6.
Yeah.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Yeah. Iced coffee or regular coffee?
Regular coffee. I live in England.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah.
It's cold.
Yeah.
You just leave your coffee out there anyway, and it gets iced.
Yeah.
All right, we've got 2 more. So skips or quavers?
Ooh, skips.
Skips. Oh no, Lily's not happy.
One cocktail.
Oh.
Brent Rocket sponsored by Skips last year, I think.
Yeah.
100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so good. Keep the sponsors happy.
They weren't my sponsors, so I shouldn't be keeping them happy.
Yeah, you're shit.
Tim Tams or Penguins?
Tim Tams, but they're the same, aren't they?
Well, we've heard people say it's just not the same as Tim Tams. There's just something about them which just isn't quite the same.
Kind of the same though, but I think Tim Tam, you get 9, don't you, in the packet? So that's a selling point.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, very true.
Yeah, and they're not
9 not to share between 2 of you.
Yeah.
Me and Maisie have this issue a lot. They're good to share between 3 people, but not 2 people, because what happens with the 9th? That's also if I had them right, but I'm sure there was 9.
Yeah, I think it's always. Yeah, I think it's always an odd number, doesn't it? It just happens to work out like that, and it's just
who's not ideal.
Gonna have the final one.
Usually me anyway.
Well,
do companies like seeing people quarrel?
Probably, yeah. Or it might mean people buy 2 packets so that it's an even number.
Yeah.
Oh, I never thought of it like that.
And that's why they have
That's genius.
Buy one get one, or it's cheaper to get two together or something like that. But yeah. Tim Tams have different variety as well, I think. So that's always a winner there.
Tim Tams are good, to be fair.
Yeah.
You get Maisie to come back with her.
Yeah, see, that's obviously you're with the you bring over you want Tim Tams, and I $4 pot noodles. How crazy is that? A pot noodle here is $4. It's ridiculous.
What are they here? What's a pot noodle over here? Like 50p?
Yeah, like it's
that's like
five with that. Like
$1.10, 50p.
But do you have a favourite pot noodle flavour? Because there's only one right answer.
Well, to be honest, I don't eat pot noodle really, but it'd be some form of curry flavour or like a spicy flavour.
Ah, good. Okay, so the Bombay Bad Boy is like the spicy one. It's like the spicy curry flavour. And that's my favourite. And
well, there we go. My favourite too.
There we go.
I have to have a look now and go and buy one.
The first person who's ever agreed with me, because everyone's just like chicken and mushroom. It's like, it's boring.
Chicken and mushroom. Do you know what? That's the first one that popped in my head, and I don't like mushroom.
Yeah,
I knew that was the big one.
Yeah, neither do I. But that's the most popular, I think. But yeah, not having it.
But now time for the big question.
Yeah. So this is a big decider, I feel like. I've got a theory. So if you're on my side, then it's that theory. So do you classify porridge as cereal?
No.
Oh.
There we go. Okay, I'll tell you my theory, right? So I'm on the porridge is not cereal side, and Josh is on the porridge is cereal side. I think it's an English thing. I think I figured it out.
Well, I only wouldn't class it as cereal because I find cereals cold milk.
Yeah, exactly.
Something that classifies as cereal is cold milk and usually somewhat crunchy.
Yeah.
Whereas porridge is like warm and soft if you've cooked it right. I mean, you can have it cold and hard, but like...
Oh, it's no.
It tastes very nice.
Yeah, see, this is the thing. All of the Australians who we've chatted to so far have agreed with Josh, and all of the English ones have agreed with me. So there we go. That's
we need to get more Australian people on here.
Cereal is you associate it with breakfast, and cereals associated with breakfast. That's the only reason.
Yeah, but muesli probably I'd count it in the muesli section. I'd go with, but there we go. I think we've figured out the pattern, but it's it's a divide.
So we've just got 6 more Australian players lined up, so that's all good.
Well, it's just like there's another one like Jaffa cakes. Is that a biscuit or a cake?
Oh,
I'd say a biscuit. I think because it's got biscuit on the bottom, hasn't it? Or is it like soft?
It's like a soft biscuit, isn't it?
Yeah, soft biscuit. It's like a biscuit.
I don't think it's neither. I think it's got its own category.
Yeah, well, that brings us to the end of our questions. But yeah, thank you so much for chatting to us. We really, really appreciate your time.
No problem. Thanks for inviting me in.
Jones down the wicket goes high. Armitage comes in, and what a magnificent catch! Hollie Armitage getting her hands underneath that one. Gosh, that was a good catch.
That was a brilliant interview, I think, with Hollie. Yeah, like we said before at the start, she gave us such a good insight on England cricket and the setup, really. And it surprised me about them not really having any club level, because you just assume that everywhere has club level.
Yeah, it's so different to hear what the differences are here in Australia and over in England, and consider how lucky we are actually.
Yeah,
how
you don't realise
what we have.
Yeah, you don't realise the pathways that we have and how different they are to over there. And I feel like we've got so much more access and so much more opportunity. Yes. And yeah, definitely don't take it for granted. But yeah, I think that was brilliant to talk to Hollie.
Very lovely girl as well. Very lovely to chat to her.
So yeah, that was our interview with Hollie Armitage. Now next week we also have another Northern Diamonds teammate, but she has, like we said before, moved to Birmingham Phoenix. So we talked to Dutch cricketer Ster Callis, and she was great. I really enjoyed talking to her. But that's next week. But other than that, you can follow us on our social media. Our Instagram and Twitter is howsthatTCP, or you can send us an email at howsthatthecricketpodcast@gmail.com. But that is all from me this week.
And that's all from me.
How's that?